Did you ask my permission to hit record? Skype says that you have to ask my permission.
I'm recording. I let everybody know that they're being recorded.
Did you? I didn't hear you say that. Like, there's nothing about this where you said...
I just told you you're being recorded. I'm saying I'm hitting a record button.
Well, we're going to try this on Skype today because of situations for this podcast, but we'll see how Skype does. But Greg doesn't follow the own Skype rules. I read the Skype end user agreement, like all 2,700 pages of it, to make sure we were okay.
Okay, good.
And you didn't follow like rule number 3.
I told you I was recording. That's the important part. You're being recorded.
Yeah. Did you know that all 2,700 pages of the Skype user guide and user license is more interesting than Captain America number 374?
What are you talking about? Streets of Poison is amazing. This is the pinnacle, the peak Captain America story. You get it all.
Yeah.
All the
characters. I read to the end, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're just going to set that right there because I don't want to ruin it for the listeners, right? The ending of Streets of Poison is so amazing that I'm going to end up accidentally giving it away at some point. You know, spoiling comic books from 1990 is a big deal.
Don't spoil it. I haven't read that far.
I thought you read to the end.
No.
We're bragging about it on the last podcast. Whether you've read it.
I was just trying to get you to read more.
Oh, I see. You were bragging massively. You're like, I've read all of these things.
I read 6 issues, almost all of it.
Well, we've got a Bullseye cover. Hey, I'm on video today for temporarily. Not that we're doing anything with this video, but it's like, look at that. I can show the cover. Yeah.
Show the cover to me, which I'm looking at a cover on my other screen.
You're in a cover within a cover within a cover.
Yes, we have multiple covers here.
It could be, there was my beautiful Samsung tablet, and we're ready to go on Streets of Poison. Captain America, number 374. We've got Captain America and another Ron Lim cover.
Yeah.
Now, I asked the question last time, why is it a good idea to wear a bullseye on your head?
So people know who you are without having to say your name.
Second question, how big is Bullseye's head? When he doesn't have his mask on, he's not like me. I have kind of a big head, but he does. I actually don't. I have a tiny head, but he's got, I don't know. He had a flat top. This does not look like a flat top to me. This looks like the biggest cranium ever.
He put some socks in it to make it look bigger.
I've got to make that bullseye. Oh, then if somebody shoots him, they shoot socks instead of his head.
Yeah, see?
That's kind of a good idea. I think it would be more lumpy if he did that, though. It'd be...
He layers them. They're smooth.
That's... I don't know. We've got... It looks like... Did he take one of Elektra's size and just carry it around? Is that how this happened?
It's a trophy.
Is it? Okay. I mean, I really don't know.
I think so.
That's my lack of Marvel readingness, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll get me to go back and read that story. I mean, again, I was joking about the Frank Miller darkness, but I probably should go back and read that story. I'm sort of a sucker for stories with all the religious and Catholic iconography in them too, and I know that was a big part of that story. But why do I keep talking about the story that is not the one that we're supposed to talk about? It's 25 minutes. Well, not 25 minutes in. Instead of a few minutes in. It better not be 25 minutes into the recording.
Because you talked for 25 minutes before we hit record.
Oh, okay, good. I was scared. But yeah, we left the listeners out. Trust, you missed out on some gold before we started.
I know.
But we're on now. And we've got Steve Rogers, born in the USA. Raised to cherish the ideals of democracy, endowed with a superhuman physique, and driven to be the most capable combatant in the world. Now as both lone crusader and leader of the renowned Avengers, he fights an ongoing battle for liberty, justice, and the American dream. Stan Lee presents Captain America Falling Out.
Oh.
Now, what was the last issue called again?
I can't remember.
Balls Out.
Balls Out. Balls Out. Falling Out. His balls are falling out.
You're like, it was something obscene. Well, anyway, he's got a flashlight
by the light.
He's got a flashlight and a shovel coming at him, and I'm imagining this is a ploy.
Oh yeah.
I'm quite frankly impressed by Bullseye of throwing both of these things with like each arm at the same time. I mean, that takes some real stamina. Like you have to like. I'm not sure I could do that. Like you just.
Ouch.
How you
Oh my
microphone. Greg has no coordination when it comes to throwing.
No, I don't. Or catching anything as we learned with the mini football in Omaha.
Well, Captain America also has no skills either because he throws up his shield at the flashlight. That must be. So what were those flashlights we had growing up that all the cool kids and scouts had? I didn't have one. The big mag lights.
Oh, the big mag lights. Yeah,
That's what this is, right? This is one of those big mag lights.
Yeah, it's a cop light.
I had like the Rayovac plastic one you get from like the 50-cent store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my dad gave me one that was from his Boeing like go bag. It was like bright orange with a bright orange plastic, so you can't lose it. Stamped with a Boeing do not remove on it.
So everybody else, all the cool kids had those big aluminum like mag flashlights that were super bright, much brighter than the ones. Did yours have just a little bulb in it? Mine did. Yeah.
It did.
Like you try to use it outside and you can't. You can see like 0 feet in front of you, like 0.5 feet. It's fantastic.
Get to the tree to go to the bathroom and back, but outside of that, no.
That was about it. And most of that was just making sure you didn't trip over something yourself, like you're looking down.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Captain America is he blocks the flashlight but gets hit by the shovel.
Oh man, that would hurt.
But he manages to tuck and roll. Well, Bullseye manages to tuck and roll.
Yeah.
So he can't be seen. Sorry, I'm messing up the whole sequence here.
Bullseye's quick. He's fast. He's agile.
Is he?
I mean, look at him go.
Now, Bullseye is made of adamantium? Is that?
No. He's just fast and agile.
Are you sure about that? I think we're going to find that out later.
Okay.
Well, anyway, Bullseye tries to throw like everything at him.
Yeah, he's
at Captain America, and Captain America just holds up his shield. So since like there's no C4 in any of these things or anything like that. And I'm not sure that would do anything to the shield anyway.
No.
So we've got a classic like standoff and nothing's happening. So we turn the page and Diamondback's in the water after. So if you remember last issue, we left with Captain America fighting Bullseye. I didn't set up the issue very well. And not knowing, they didn't know who each other was. Like, right, Bullseye ambushed him.
Yeah.
And then, but inadvertently, right? They're just looking through rubble together, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't trying to fight each other.
No, they're just looking for different things.
And we get Black Widow ambushed Diamondback on the Sky Cycle.
Yes.
See, I got it right.
Got it right.
And they fall in the water, and we get an entire page of dialogue about how terrible it was to fall in the water, and some exposition from Diamondback. And Black Widow surfaces and is like, "We'll meet again, Diamondback." Ha ha ha. Do you think that Mark Gruenwald read a lot of watched a lot of pro wrestling?
Perhaps.
By the way, it's Mark Gruenwald wrote this. Ron Lim penciled it. Danny Bulanadi, Bulanadi. I got it. No. Steve Buccellato, I know how to say that one, colored it. Ralph Machio is the editor. Joe Rosen's the letterer. And Tom DeFalco, thank you for bringing us the Spider-Clone saga, was the editor-in-chief.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll never let it die. Like, it's just...
You have to read it sometime.
Well, like, Death of Superman wasn't bad enough, so let's make clones of Spider-Man, right? Yeah. Like, seems like a good idea.
Seems like a great idea.
And then we can't really make fun. See, I can only make fun of DeFalco because we don't know him. Like, if I make fun of Louise Simonson, there could be blowback on you.
I mean, potentially.
I don't know. I'm sure Tom DeFalco block a project of yours? I don't know.
I don't know.
Also, just Louise Simonson did other cool things. So did Tom DeFalco, admittedly. I really need to quit harping on this. But, I mean, he's no Jim Shooter, right?
Pow.
So, That string of editors at Marvel Comics, much maligned.
Yeah, they do their thing.
Well, anyway, Bullseye keeps throwing junk at him, and now he's throwing darts. I don't know.
Nails.
Everything just keeps hitting the shield. This isn't working.
Nothing is getting through that shield.
Yeah, and so anyway, we get a giant fight scene, and they aren't really talking to each other for the most part. There's just a lot of thinking happening.
Lots of thinking, lots of thought between the two.
And then Captain America finally says, "All right, Bullseye, hold it right there. I've had about enough of you." Did he need to say that out loud?
Maybe. So Bullseye knows, you know.
Speaking of Superman, Marvel fans always insult Superman by calling him the Big Blue Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America's dialogue is way worse than Superman's.
And he's a big blue Boy Scout.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because like they hate DC so much they're blind to their own like faults here.
Yeah,
that's why you just like all comics, because then you don't have to worry about like liking one company over another one, right? Exactly. I don't have to take sides.
Exactly.
But anyway, I was right. By the way, there are no page numbers.
There are none.
Which annoys the piss out of me.
It's just like Starlight.
It is. This book is not just like Starlight. Number one, do not insult your own writing by putting it on par with this one. And second, right here, Bullseye dives out of a building and says, "Fun's fun, but I don't like the odds of 2 against 1." He thinks in rhyme? That's amazing. I wish I thought in rhyme. Like,
I think in rhyme all the time. Sometimes I do it when I pick up a dime. Have you ever wondered?
Drop the dime. That would have been way better, but you already failed at your own poem.
Well, I would have
drop a dime. I said drop the dime. I'm like the lamest. Okay, I've got Captain America dialogue problems.
You do. I would do it, but right now I'm trying to mime. Well, is that a crime?
We're never getting through this book.
Do you want to
mostly because it's
time?
So. Well, it's just so terrible. So he does. I just wanted to point out I was right. They're no good for getting through airport security, but adamantium laced bones have a few advantages.
Yes.
How did Bullseye get adamantium laced bones?
I don't know.
Same as Wolverine?
Maybe.
I've got to know. Like, this is something. You know what? My crack research I did before the podcast. We're gonna find out about Bullseye's adamantium bones live. But hold up, we got to get back into the story here. So we've got, what do we got going on? We've got the Sky Cycle conveniently appears, and we get the recap of Black Widow jumping on board the Sky Cycle.
Yeah. Oh man, it was terrible.
And
but Bullseye's more important. He's the first priority.
Yeah. Well, admittedly, I think taking Bullseye out is probably a bigger priority than whatever Black Widow does.
But then Bullseye says the same exact thing Black Widow says in his panel.
I just have
Captain
America. I have a stupid question about this prioritization though.
Okay.
Or this fight, right? Like, why didn't, like, when Black Widow and Diamondback has no powers that we've noticed yet, right?
That we've noticed, yes.
Right. I mean, she may well have powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Bullseye tried to be a Major League Baseball player?
Really?
Yeah, but according to his biography on Marvel.com, he was too selfish and sadistic for that. According to Bullseye himself, he grew bored and annoyed pitching a no-hitter. So for the last pitch of the game, he threw the ball at the batter, killing him.
Oh.
Like, this guy seems like the lamest. Like, how did Bullseye get promoted to be so awesome? Like,
I don't know. It sounds like a wrestler's arc.
It sounds like that's worse than a wrestler's arc. It sounds like Roller Games.
Oh, that's such a good movie. Are you talking about with
I was actually talking about the actual roller skating, roller derby promotion, but we can go with the movie. That's fine.
Because which movie are you talking about? Are you talking about like the 70s one or the 90s one?
Oh, well, I mean, the 90s one.
Rollerball.
That's Rollerball.
Rollerball.
No, I was talking about Roller Games. Like,
roller
they're
games,
different.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Rollerball is really the only one we're familiar with, though, right?
There's there's the 90s one, which is like awesome, like looks awesome. Not very good. Looks really awesome.
Well, I have an update. Later, when following an assignment to kill Kingpin, Bullseye simply received a better offer from Kingpin and agreed to work with him. Instead, however, after returning from yet another imprisonment by Daredevil, Bullseye was furious. The Kingpin had chosen Elektra as his assassin in the meantime. Bullseye killed her with nothing more than a playing card and her own psi weapon. Okay, I knew this.
Okay.
Earning the enmity of Daredevil, Elektra's lover, Bullseye fought the enraged hero over the tops of New York City, and Bullseye was allowed to fall to his death by Daredevil. He did not die, however. He did not die, however. His spine shattered, paralyzing him. With the help of a Japanese crime lord, Dark Wind, Bullseye's bones were laced with adamantium in hopes that Bullseye would freely serve Lord Darkwind as his head assassin. But instead he returned to New York. Okay, so he got his... So it was just a way to bring back a popular character? To give him adamantium bones.
Yeah. Adamantium is like super popular, man.
And again, I haven't read the story. I mean, obviously I know what happens, right? Because I feel like everybody... Sorry if I spoiled the Elektra Daredevil storyline from the early 1980s for you. But I think it's pretty famous. Everybody knows what happens there. Based off what we're reading so far, like, is Bullseye a character that needed to come back?
Yeah. Obviously, for this, yes.
Well, I mean, no, I'm asking you a serious question. I know you're kidding. Like, I mean, it seems like Bullseye is the right character for the story at the time, right? Like, you have sort of a battle of assassins, and then both of them go down because they're assassins, right?
Yeah, I think because his unique skill set. I say unique. His skill set.
He throws shit at people.
He always hits his mark. He's interesting and people like him. He probably had popular following and stuff like that. I mean, he's been popular. He gets popular again every 10 years.
It just seems like one of the early 90s books to just bring back a character that was popular in the mid 80s and then run with it.
Yeah.
And see what happens, but it's not great storytelling.
I mean, they made a movie about him.
Oh, God. Yeah, they did.
I mean, so.
And somebody watched those movies and like, man, Ben Affleck would be an amazing Batman.
Yeah.
Batfleck.
And he was.
No. It's fucking terrible. I just got done watching the Flash movie.
And?
By the way, I have seen something in the world worse than these comic books. But the one thing the Flash movie illustrated was just like how much better Michael Keaton is than all the other Batmen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no offense to Christian Bale, but he just is.
He just is.
Yeah, it's not even close.
I take those Dark Knight stories, those movies, and it's a time capsule. It's its own thing. It's its own thing.
I mean, he's really good. But, everybody after Michael Keaton has to go, I'm Batman.
Even better than Twilight Batman?
Oh, God. Don't even. Yes.
I liked the movie.
That movie was terrible.
I found it enjoyable.
Well, you did. I got really high and, got mad for 2 straight hours while Paul made fun of me.
I saw the videos. They were hilarious.
Where do these videos release? I never actually see them.
Oh, he posts them on TikTok, dude. I'll tell you he's recording.
No. He tells me he's recording me. I just don't know where. I don't have TikTok.
Gosh. Oh my God. You're progressive. Like, I don't think there's audio, but you're progressively getting madder and madder at the TV. And I know what you guys are watching. And it's so funny because it's like, it's so good. And I love it when he gets videos. Oh, I love it when he gets videos of you watching something that just makes you angry, because you could see that your anger isn't just in your face; it's in your whole body.
So I could be famous on TikTok, and I don't even know.
Here, you're Angry Dan. Yeah, everybody. Wow. He's got a whole entire song that he did about you and everything.
That would be as long as I get half the money. Like,
there's no money. There's no money. There's no sponsorships. I mean, although he did get like a Powerade thing. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Well, good for Paul. Well, anyway, I would say I'm less angry about this comic book, I guess, for now. But we go back to the generic hoodlums.
Generic hoodlums.
I mean, that's what they are. Like, it's just at this point, they all have stupid fucking names. Because literally, like, we get a page. Okay, let's go through this. Are you ready? Yo, Hotwire, you done yet?
And he's hotwiring a car. Oh, that's good. That makes sense.
And then I guess these aren't the name of people, but they say, let's find some Cracker Jacks to hoist. Is that like another gang, or are they just hungry?
I think that's
and it's Cracker Jack, not Cracker Jacks.
I think it's
Cracker Jack is plural.
Yeah, I think they're the other gang, and hoisting is their term for offing people.
Oh, okay. Well, then we get, hey, Potshot Rub Out, how about them? What? Like, nobody calls people names like this?
I mean, Soda Pop and Pony Boy and...
What would our Mark Gruenwald Captain America comic book names be?
They'd go on the very generic, it would call you probably Baldy and Glasses. Or Specs.
Baldy and Glasses?
Baldy and
I feel
Specs.
like...
Hey, Specs. What do you think about that? I don't know. Shiny
I know.
top.
Let's not go there. I've been watching the Insidious movies, so that doesn't work either. Yeah, because there's actually a Specs in that.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyway, we're back to Kingpin, thankfully.
Yeah.
And now tell me, you're gonna blow me off here because I don't even. You know what? Why do I even ask you questions about characters?
What are you gonna ask?
Like, tell me about Typhoid Mary. Like, I don't know anything about her. Is she just She's just the new Kingpin assassin after Bullseye and Electro, basically.
She's Kingpin's assassin, but she has the ability, like, she can touch people and kill them with, like, she spreads disease, you know.
Oh, okay. So she's like...
I read the whole entire backup story in the Ghost Rider books.
Okay, cool. Well, that's cool.
It was like Ghost Rider Wolverine double ups, and then there was a Typhoid Mary backstory, and it was like the whole entire Who's Typhoid Mary thing, and I bought every single one because I wanted to know, and then it led into this back in the day.
Well, that's cool. You actually knew about a villain. I'm really excited. I mean, I didn't give you some obscure villain out of Iron Man books, so that's...
It was interesting, though, because like the Wolverine and the Ghost Rider books ended up coming together, and then they like had to fight her, but they couldn't because, like, you know, she spreads death. Everybody that was around them, even though they couldn't die, you know.
Right.
They can't die. Neither of them.
Which Wolverine books were those? Must have been like
they were
below number 50.
They were old. Like, I mean, they were, like I said, they were like those weird double ups, and I think I bought them.
Oh, those are like the Marvel Comics Presents.
Yeah, something like that. I would get them at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I got some. I have some now. I just haven't read. I bought some in a collection. My intent was not to read them. It was just to read them.
I would pick them up. I'd pick them over at 7-Eleven after getting off at Taco Bell and stuff like that. I'd swing home and be like, "I'm eating my 7-layer and I'm reading some comic books. Leave me alone, Dad."
Yeah, I had an intent to flip a collection, but it's back over behind my chair.
Oh.
So yeah,
you should read those books.
Well, I have to sort them and stuff and all that. But anyway, well, we're back here. This is super exciting. This comic's very exciting. Kingpin's really mad, and he is really upset.
Nothing is going Kingpin's way. Nothing.
By the way, can I just say, we're not going to learn about it in this issue. Can I tell you how pissed off I am that my joke about who should be the person actually producing the crystal meth came true from the first episode? Because when I got to that issue and found that out, I was like really pissed off. Because I was kidding, right? Like, I'm like, that would be funny.
And then?
It happened.
It happened.
We're going to hold you in suspense so you keep listening to the podcast.
I know. Everyone has to listen to this show.
Well, anyway, we find out that Captain America is really pissed off at not Agent Carter. Is she Agent Carter in this? Is she just Peggy Carter?
Peggy. I think she's just Peggy.
Peggy Carter, or generic Avengers uniform wearer.
Yeah. Her coveralls.
Yeah. And then then Captain America yells at her because she called. Admittedly, I would yell at her too. It was kind of bullshit. Like, why didn't she call Natasha off once she found out he was okay?
Right. Yeah. He's fine.
So it is kind of her fault.
You called the backup.
He's also just being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And then and Ron Lin keeps, like, do you notice how, like, was he on some sort of chest expansion program from the first issue we read to now? Like, he just keeps getting bigger. It's like
Cap is he's getting his chest is expanding for sure.
And his traps too. His traps look like mine.
Mm-hmm. He's big.
He's good. Yeah.
He's built out.
Well, Diamondback's talking to another generic Avengers guy, and
is that Michael?
Comes in and screams at her. Yeah. So is that John? It's John.
Oh, that'd be John. Yeah.
John Jameson. Yeah. And it really doesn't matter because all of this plot could happen with any generic people.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like, this is just like fodder. It's not building anything, right? It's just fodder to show that Captain America is losing his shit.
Mm-hmm. He's spiraling.
And then we get somebody coming in, and here's my favorite moment of the comic. And I did do some research for this part.
Okay.
And we get a comment from one of so this is gray-haired generic Avengers guy who we saw in the first issue.
Okay.
He was the one ratting out Fabian for doing drugs.
For drugs. Yeah.
And then he says, maybe you ought to at least coordinate your efforts with the DEA. And we get an editor's note. Drug Enforcement Agency. That's not what it's fucking called.
What is it called?
Well, the Drug Enforcement Administration. And I looked this back up. And yes, dating back to the 70s, when it was created, it was called the Drug Enforcement Administration. It has never been called the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Maybe
like, if you're going to put a fucking editor's note in here and get all self-righteous on me, you might as well get the name of the agency right. Like, Jesus.
Maybe agency was easier to get into the panel than administration.
Well, maybe it's so. Maybe in the Marvel universe, it's called the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Maybe.
It's possible. But to go to all that point, and like,
maybe it's Mandela effect. And it's always been that, and you just didn't know it.
Then at the bottom of the page, we get the stupidest fucking shit in the world.
All right.
This is so dumb. So Diamondback comes and dresses up in a new costume with a mask with fucking diamonds on it and diamonds around her neck and is like, oh, hey, this gives me an excuse to break out my undercover costume. How about to go fucking undercover, you just wear shit like normal people wear and walk around? How is this an undercover costume?
Because she has a mask. Nobody can see.
She's wearing like a mask with points on it.
And she has different hair.
Right. Oh, and of course she has to do the Black Canary thing too, because the person we couldn't remember her name and this lady are both Black Canary apparently. Yeah. Mockingbird. I had to express to you how one, the costume is ugly as shit and it's dumb. Like
it is pretty bad.
Well, now we get my next question. Okay, we're back with Bullseye, right? Yeah. And he's here terrorizing people and killing people like Bullseye does. Okay, cool. Did Daredevil let him keep the Psy after throwing him off a building? Was he just like, you killed my girlfriend, I'll let you keep her weapons? I
think he just kept it. Maybe.
How? He got thrown off a building, apparently.
Maybe it was tucked away.
That would be rough. That's a rough fucking ending right there. Where does that land?
I don't know. he put it in his pouch, in his like little waist bag.
All right. Now we get now we get the next annoying thing of the storytelling. We get Daredevil flying around the building, or flying around some buildings.
Yeah.
And he grabs a flag and doesn't go well. Okay, and the flag rips, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I gotta go find Captain America because like we just hung out together in upstate New York in Daredevil 283." The books did not tell us to read them in that order. They told them to read us in this order.
Yeah.
So apparently a whole fucking story happened before this one that we don't even know about.
It's unimportant.
No, it's so unimportant that we're gonna do it on the next episode.
All right, awesome, can't wait.
Yeah, that's Daredevil 283 for the next episode, everyone. If you're counting time.
Following along.
If you're following along, read it. Actually, by far the best issue of the group.
Did you read it?
Yeah, it was written by Ann Nessetti. I even sent you a message about it.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Right. Yeah, I shouldn't say fantastic, but it's just a single encapsulated issue about Captain America and Daredevil and this guy that makes a car. And okay, it's cool. It happens. Ann Nessetti, really good writer. I know it shocks everyone. I should. What? Still writing for major comic companies to this day.
Yeah.
And it shocked everybody that she's a great writer. Well, she's anyway, we keep going on, and
Cap is just he is out of control.
He's on
this next 2 pages.
He's on a one-man wrecking crew looking. Who's scarier in these, Bullseye or Captain America?
Bullseye, you expect it. Cap, I don't expect this kind of behavior from Cap. So he's kind of like bordering like unhinged and bonkers, right? So
yeah, like and again, so I haven't gone back and read these, but at least I know enough to make this comment, right? They got rid of Johnny Walker, right?
Uh-huh.
So why are they going back to having Steve Rogers act like Johnny Walker?
Right.
I mean, that's the I get it. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a punchline to this somehow.
It's Johnny Walker all along.
I'm sure there'll be a punchline to this story, a very blunt, gross, nasty, horrible, badly story told punchline. But yeah, I mean, it's just all right. Cap's going crazy. Now, I know I jumped a couple of episodes ago when we first started reading this to, well, last episode, to this being a concussion, right? And I guess we just know a lot more about concussions now than we did then. So it seemed obvious that these were concussion symptoms, right? That were kind of setting him up. But sadly, I just want to share the readers. I'm going to spoil a little bit. That's not the case.
That's not the case. Cap's on the.
Hey, don't give the story away. So, okay. But he corners Specs here.
Specs.
I'm gonna call him Specs. I don't think they call him Specs, but let's call him Specs. He says, "Mr. The name's Captain America, and I'm here with a public service announcement. Every time you buy drugs, you are financing murder."
Oh, don't do it.
Really?
And then I think he murders this guy for his drugs. Just joking.
I don't know. He ruins his car. I mean, this poor guy just wanted to get a hit, He probably just had a bad day on Wall Street, just wanted to get high and financing a murderer. I guess, I mean, we don't really know that because we don't know where the drugs come from yet. But yeah, I mean, it's a little heavy handed, probably partly true, but whatever. I say, why am I even saying partly true? I mean, it's such a bullshit scare tactic line, right? Like, I know when you were picking up your sheets of DMT, from your friends, you weren't financing murderers. You were just financing some friends in college that wanted to get along. And remember, Greg Smith makes children's books, so I would never accuse him of using DMT.
For the record, never used DMT.
Uh-huh. No joking. I don't think Greg has used DMT either, but
I don't even know what it means.
I wanted to make a point here, right? Like, it's such just a heavy-handed line just to say, well, this person's selling drugs, they're automatically like backing a murderer, right? Like,
yeah,
there was lots of people that were selling pot before pot was legal, were definitely not murderers and just trying to fucking feed their family, right? Mm-hmm. It's such a heavy-handed thing and I continue to hate this, like the way this comic book progresses just creates this us versus them scenario, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to get worse. So we might as well just roll through it. But it's going to get worse. So we're back to John Jameson and
we don't know. Diamondback, Mockingbird, Diamondbird. Okay.
She fights Blastar later in the backup story.
Oh, okay.
So Star Blast.
Star Blast. Man, Star. Laser Blast. That's a movie.
Laser Blast. How about like Laser, the American Gladiator?
Yeah.
But hey, watch that American Gladiators documentary. Very good.
Is it good?
Oh, it's very good. Yeah, it's on the Flicks. It's on the Flicks.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
I think it's on the Flicks. Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's on the Flicks. Very good. Very good. You get a lot of laser in there.
Got a lot of laser in there.
I find out a lot about laser.
Cool.
Well, anyway, we get to John and Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but she put on her black and purple costume to go undercover, correct?
To go undercover.
But then she puts on a trench coat and a hat to go undercover.
Yeah. Nothing makes sense. Nothing about any. She puts it on. She takes it off. She puts it on. I think she just likes playing dress up. I don't know. And
she's walking around this city with an ass.
Within all these pages, she's changed 3 times.
Do you think Ron Lim just liked to draw these different costumes?
I guess so, because she's literally changed 3 times, and now.
Do you think he thought one of them would take off and then he'd get paid for it later?
Maybe I don't know.
Joke's on him, because Marvel doesn't pay creators shit for the things they put in their movies.
True.
That's one thing where I'm going to say, if you want to be paid for the shit that you wrote for somebody, do it for DC. If it's a major 2 company, don't do it for fucking Marvel. But anyway, I don't think Diamondback didn't make a movie that I know of. Do you remember any?
Not yet.
Okay. By the way, I just want to share that I watched before we get to the end of this book, I watched the Flash movie, and then I went back and watched the Flashpoint cartoon. Just highly recommend, if you're going to pick one, like, just watch the Flashpoint cartoon that's an hour and 36 minutes. It does it much better than the movie The Flash.
Okay.
You won't get to see Michael Keaton, but at least you'll understand what's fucking happening in the story.
All right. Good to know.
It's superior. The Flashpoint storyline wasn't that good to begin with, but, it is what it is.
I thought they did a great job in the TV show.
Well, there's that too. And then the TV show has his dad, and the dad becomes part of the mythos in the TV show. Instead of just going back to the comic and simplifying the story for the movie, they incorporate the whole story about his dad in the fucking movie.
Okay.
So instead of just making the movie about him going back in time to save his mom, which they add the whole his dad's in jail for murder and things that they do in the TV show, which is fine in the TV show because they're building that up over 2 or 3 seasons, right? But when you've got 2 hours to tell a story and you're adding an extra character and an extra piece of motivation, probably just enough motivation that his mom fucking died for him to go back in time and try to fix that, right? That's probably enough, right? Probably. And they could have cut 30 minutes off the movie and made everybody happy because nobody wants to see Ezra Miller for any more time than they fucking have to.
True.
So anyway, back to our story. Now that you're all knowing my angst with watching the Flash movie, hey, look at my buddy Paul's TikTok, and that's Lawyer Paul. You can look at Lawyer Paul's TikTok and apparently see me very angry about watching the Flash, I'm sure. So we've got, I don't know what Lawyer Paul's TikTok is, so.
I'm trying to remember. He has 2 or 3 of them.
Well, he probably has jujitsu type TikTok and then angry looking at Dan TikTok. So, well, anyway, if you want to see angry looking at Dan, if you saw this video, you'd see it right here. So we're out in public. Okay, so we're going undercover. We're setting ourselves up to go undercover. And so she dresses up in the trench coat that I had in college, right?
Yeah.
With a hat. So it is 1990, so we're close to time frame.
Right.
And then she's going to go undercover by walking around this city with a world famous astronaut. Because if I'm going to go undercover, I'm definitely going to do it with somebody that has been on TV multiple times, been saved by Spider-Man, had this long history, who everybody knows especially in New York City, knows who that guy looks like. And then we're going to walk around the city investigating crimes.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you will recall, when he was out with Captain America, he had a costume on. He had
he was in disguise.
A mask. He had a disguise. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to walk around the city and boom, a car shows up and is like, I'm going to shoot these guys. And she knocks John down. The astronaut's down. He looks like it hurts too. She kicks his legs and he hits his head on the pavement. It looks like he breaks his neck.
Yeah. He looks messed up.
That's some odd inking swatches going around too. There's a lot of weird inking on this page.
Yeah.
And then we get I don't know that. I know Bratatat. Yeah, that's different. This is different. This is BRTA brab. Oh, hey, it does work. If you roll the R. Okay, you just got to roll the R.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, Diamondback's down. Gets shot right in the back.
In her Diamondback.
Yeah. In her Diamondback. And yeah, great. Continued in 2 weeks. I can't wait.
Now, time for power tools.
I would just like to point out that before we go to the Star Battle story,
Yes,
we get not only if you wanted more Captain America in this exact same week, you could read that Daredevil issue, which we're going to read next episode.
yes, we are.
And like, I'm only doing it to be a friend.
Yes,
Like, I could make you keep reading these Captain America stories. Right?
I would.
We could just power through.
You chose
Or I could give you a nice break and let you read the Daredevil story that is part of the story. It's not like we're okay, sorry, my tablet went to stupid panel view. So it's not like we're back on page view. But it's not like I'm skipping the story. Like, it is part of the official story line.
Mhm.
So
I know.
go ahead and do that to you. Okay. Well, now we're to I'm back at the start of the story. This is just what I wanted. We're to the Star Battle story.
Yeah. Battlestar. Power tools.
Yeah, these guys are tools. Well, anyway. All right. Yeah. They called Power Tools, written by Gruenwald and Mark Bagley's on this. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, remember how the Battlestar story was our highlight of the issue?
Yeah.
The last issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going downhill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going rapidly downhill.
For you, I think this is rad.
He looks like he's lost some substantial weight.
Well, stress will do that to you.
Yeah, it's like they're previewing something. Well, anyway, the power tools. One guy has a hammer.
Mhm.
One guy has some drills.
Yeah.
And another guy has some saws. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like some saws.
Okay, and they attack. So we got back to pick it up. Battlestar met up with his agent with glasses, who we're gonna call Specs.
Oh, okay. Specs again.
Yeah, and Specs and Battlestar and then he was afraid, and then these guys attack. So then they're like, recognize this Phoebe, guys?
Oh man,
sure do. Calls himself Battlescar. I love these guys. You're right. I actually love these guys. They don't know this dumbass's name either. So, and then he makes some keen observations. Man, their strength is augmented like mine. And we automatically just get another giant random fight scene that we have no idea why this is fighting.
We're the power tools, Starboy.
Hey now. Oh.
What?
Don't call him Starboy. No,
well, then,
no.
Then he calls in the power fools.
No. Don't bring Starboy into this. Now you crossed the line, sir.
I didn't cross the line
with all these names.
They crossed the line. They said they brought up the name, not me.
Star Battle.
Yeah, it's a big old fight. It's a mess.
They could get sued for using Starboy. That's not okay.
Well, that's why they didn't finish it. They just they kind of just ellipse it out.
Well, we get a nice battle, I guess.
And to break the TV.
Going. And eventually the hammer guy grabs the agent and is like, you have to go with us or we'll kill him. And Battlestar makes the stupidest mistake of his career and says, okay, cool. He should have let that dude die. Didn't that, wasn't the whole point, that guy trapped him to begin with?
Yeah. I mean, he trapped him in there, but,
Well, now they're both in handcuffs. And apparently there's, in 1990 Marvel Universe, there's a lot of fucking adamantium going around.
Apparently so.
I thought adamantium was, unbreakable and stuff.
And hard to get.
But they have adamantium handcuffs.
Unattainable.
There's molds for those.
Unattainable.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they end up in a warehouse, and here's where it gets, massively fucking offensive. They kick Battlestar into a room, and gas starts coming out of the wall, and he's like, gas is being piped in from the vents. Thought this was an elevator, but it is a gas chamber. Holy fuck. What kind of fucking moron writes this into fucking dialogue? I thought this was a different type of room and it's a fucking gas chamber.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I got to this page and I'm like, well, Battlestar had been my favorite part of these comics until fucking now.
Hopefully we see a turn next time.
Yeah, and no, rough Holocaust references in my fucking comics, thanks? Geez.
That's the thing about reading things from the past. There's a lot of cringe in it and you can't, I mean, people will be like, well, it's a different time. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like they didn't know.
And
It's not like they didn't know what the tie-ins were.
Yeah, like, I mean, I do feel like this was accidental cringe, right? Like, yeah. I don't think that, I mean, I don't know, and we're never going to be able to ask him, but I don't think Gruenwald was intentionally, like, putting in Holocaust references in here.
It was a gas chamber, like a prison.
But, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Ralph Machio, do your job. Like, I'm blaming this one on the editing staff, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, this never should have made it through Ralph Macchio's desk, right? Like, that's just...
Yeah, it's
we can blame the writer for this one, but honestly, I think this is, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know the industry a lot more than I do. I think that was an editor miss.
Yeah, I don't think it would be making it past any desk nowadays, but I mean, definitely for sure, it's definitely on the editor for whatever, for those reasons and stuff. I got this great idea. We're gonna put him in a room. He's gonna think it's a room or an elevator, but it's a gas chamber. Maybe that's not the best idea.
Yeah. Well, clearly, like, I love the fact that they have the letter pages in here, because not all of these books have the letter pages that we've gone to, right? Back in the Marvel, in you read them through marvel.com. But this one, if I go down to a letter by Uncle Elvis, 17650 Dawson Road, Dawson Springs, Kentucky, 42408. By the way, you can write Uncle Elvis at 17650 Dawson Road, Dawson Springs, Kentucky, 42408. So maybe we should write him a letter.
Okay.
I think Uncle Elvis was a particularly prolific comic book writer or letter writer.
Okay.
He has nothing on T.M. Maple, who wrote all the letters. I'm not joking. The Mighty Maple. You know that, right?
The Mighty Maple, who wrote all the comic, all the letters to the comics.
He wrote all the letters, but
all the letters.
This guy here, I want to quote this and see if you agree with this sentiment. Please, 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 please tell me that Captain America 366 marks the beginning of Ron Lim's tenure as regular monthly artist for this title. All of Ron's work is beautiful.
It's pretty prolific.
Oh, God. I mean, I think that, is it the inking? The inking changed in the second issue we read, right?
A little bit.
And stuff got really blocky and hatchy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the faces would look really plasticky. Captain America's chest got really big.
Mm-hmm.
That Diamondback costume's fucking awful.
What's really weird is this is exactly out of Uncle Elvis's letter.
Yeah.
That what you're saying.
That he wants all this?
No, that's what he says.
No, he doesn't. He says it's beautiful.
I know. The listeners don't know that, Dan.
I think it was an inking change, honestly, right?
Yeah.
I think it's an inker change that did this, because we get a lot more cross hatches. We get, I mean, even Daredevil looks, he just likes like a red with, like just red with some like flesh matte.
Mm-hmm.
That's
there's definitely a difference in this issue versus the previous issues.
Yeah, and that cover with the giant bullseye head, and the Captain America heads are that way too, right? Like the giant A. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is an art style that some people could like. The elongated, weird alien heads are weird to me with the giant A's and the giant bullseye, but okay.
People like it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this book was selling back then, so I'd have to go look that up. I'm sure we'll look it up by the end, but
that's your homework.
You were buying this one, yeah?
I'm pretty sure I had. I don't know if I was buying this story, because I don't recall this story. I know I had the Daredevil stuff.
I mean, Captain America doesn't seem like a book that you would normally buy, but
no, it's not.
You've surprised me in the past.
If it was like, oh, hey, like, I wouldn't go out and buy straight up a Captain America book, but I would buy an Avengers book with Captain America in it.
Like, I know you bought a bunch of Avengers West Coast, but you weren't really buying West Coast Avengers, right? You were buying them more after the name change, right?
Yeah. So
you also just had more money then too, right? Like,
well, I mean, that Fred Meyers money.
Well, in 1990 though, you didn't have the Fred Meyers money yet.
No. I
mean, we're in 1990, so it's not like you were swimming in money.
My lawn mowing money.
Yeah. Do you want to guess what the top seller from June until December was in 1990? So Spawn, I'm going to be a hint. So Spawn came out in 1993. So who was the top artist and what was the top book for 6 straight months? Yeah. Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. Which before Legend of the Dark Knight and Batman actually took the top spots for the first half of the year. So DC was hanging in, and then some guy named Todd McFarlane
jumped in, and people were like, "Holy crap, this guy can draw!"
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
maybe he'll go start his own comic book company and stuff.
Make toys, and continue to make toys. Make lots of toys.
So I'm not really seeing. I don't see for now. So I'll do some more research with Comic-Con. I may reach out to them. By the way, if you are just, I know I've mentioned, it's been a while since I mentioned Comic-Con, but if you want to support a group, that chair, good God.
I'm sorry, I gotta go buy a new chair. Oh, listen to it, and you can't even cut this out because.
No, I can't, because it was in the middle of my sentence. So if you want to, I was trying, you know what, I'm trying to be nice here, and you're wangling around your chair and making your noise. Comic-Con, Comichron. Great historical resources on comic books and yearly and monthly sales. And if you want to go back, in time and take a look at something, and great resource. 1990 just has year end, so I can't year end, so I can't get specific months here to see exactly where Cap was. But I can tell you, put you in place in time. And if you want to support them, you can support them on Patreon. And you don't even have to give them very much. Like, just give them $1 a month so they can keep doing their great work. But yeah, so I definitely do, by the way.
Do it.
But anyway, appreciate them and all they do. I may reach out to Comic-Con and see how this book was doing at the time. And yeah, that's what I've got this week. It's fun. I think by the time this podcast goes out, I think they're going to have to reach out to you for Starlight and buy it. And I think they're going to have to wait, and they're going to have to buy it when it comes out in the electronic version at your website, at Overcast. But besides that, let's see. You have anything?
I would say the thing that if Starlight has made its run on Kickstarter, the only thing I can tell you to go check out on Kickstarter, near and dear to our heart here at the Funny Book Forensics, is our dear friend Kenrick is going to be running a Kickstarter for his fantastic book, Supernatural Baby Detective. I've read this. I've helped and I've edited some stuff. I've looked at some things. I am 100% pleased and overjoyed with how this book has come along, from when he told me about it to where it is now, getting ready to jump off on Kickstarter. So by the time this podcast airs, you should go to Kickstarter and find Supernatural Baby Detective. Don't get it confused with what your mind wants to say, Supernatural Baby Killers, because that's not what it is. Although it sounds like a cool title.
Yeah, and unlike Berserker, you'll actually get your books before the general public gets your books when you back something on Kickstarter. So back independent creators and boom, suck it, because you still haven't given me my stuff before you actually got books out to actual people.
I could go on for days, because that is literally, it's a thing. It's a thing. People are still, they're just getting their books 2 years later. After even stores got their books, but people that backed
probably should support the people that backed it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. But I mean, I know with Kenrick, the book is complete. It's written, it's drawn, it's all done. All you have to do is back it, run that Kickstarter clock down, and then as soon as it's ready to go, as soon as that Kickstarter clock is done, he's ready to ship that bad boy out to everyone who's backed it, So jump on it early, get those early bird rewards because he's got some good ones.
That was again Battlestar Baby Detective.
Yes, Battlestar Baby Detective. No, Supernatural Baby Detective
with Cthulhu.
There is a Cthulhu aspect.
Cthulhu enhanced.
Cthulhu enhanced Baby Detective. Oh my gosh! Now imagine that, a Cthulhu enhanced Baby Detective. Imagine a baby detective who is actually Cthulhu.
And of course, you can hear Kenrick and John on the mothership, the Spoiler Country podcast, returning soon.
It's returned.
Returning now
at the Spoilerverse.
The Spoilerverse. All right. Well, I've got an interrupting dog.
Interrupting dog. Bark, bark.
And that dog barking tells us we should probably end this podcast. So
because there's a dog that needs to go outside.
And she's an adorable, good puppy dog too.
Good dog. So with the camera on, I get to see the dog.
We're gonna take care of that puppy dog. Yeah, she's down there below me sleeping, not sleeping though, because she's bark sleeping. So we're gonna take care of that puppy dog, and we're out of here. So we appreciate you listening to another episode, and hey, read along with us if you want to get into some fantastic books. We're on next for Daredevil 283. So read ahead and make sure you follow us in the Spoilerverse. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
X,
formerly known as Twitter.
Yes.
Where we send X's.
What? I don't.
We send. What if it was like ecstatics and we just had the guy that vomits acid on people?
I guess. Maybe.
Do you think he read a lot of X comic books? I mean, X is such a terrible name for a platform that he probably read all of the bad X-Men,
maybe
we're talking 1995-ish.
Yeah.
When it was just off the fucking rails and there was 5,000 X books.
All the X books.
I like the Ecstatics books though. I'm not gonna lie. I like those. The art was really cool. I'm sorry.
You like what you like.
I couldn't tell you what that dude's superpower was for a long time.
Just threw up everywhere.
But it was funny watching him die in Deadpool. So in Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2.
All right. Well, let's get out of here.
All right.
We'll turn off the recording and bye, everyone. Bye.
I don't know how to do this on this program.